Hello, all. Welcome to the Human Libraries of Procurement podcast. We call it Human Libraries of Procurement for three basic elements: the human connect, the library part, which shows the knowledge and wisdom, and procurement, because we talk about procurement. We have today Amar Pandhare with us, who is from the sales, and we are going to talk about sales and procurement both together. Hello, Amar. Thank you for doing this. How are you doing today?
Thank you for having me here, Supratim. I'm doing great with drizzling all around the city.
Right.
That's what I am. Yeah.
Right. So, Amar, we'll start with your
Mm,
introduction. Please tell us about your
mm,
career journey, and then we'll go
mm.
from there.
This question comes as part of interviews, discussion, more often everywhere. Uh, First is who are you? So I am a sales guy. Yes, I started my journey as a sales guy from very early. I started from the graduation day. I started with a shoe shop and then went into banking. I sold credit cards, loan, insurance, and then I started my technology sales journey, which is with a company called Ozontel. Ozontel is into cloud telephony, where I sold softwares, cloud telephony software, and from there I moved on to an e-commerce company for a very shorter stint. But then where I am currently, I'm currently working with Happy Visitor, spearheading sales and business development for the Pan Globe, where we sell front office automation solutions. That's what I do. Apart from sales, I also publish a magazine called FMNCRE World, where it's a piece which gives voice to FMCRE procurement professionals. It is in obviously collaboration with FMG Group, and a part time I also have a small foundation which works on the social enterprise. That's what I am. Maybe I can talk till cow come home what I do, but with the paucity of time, I'm just trying to limit myself.
Right. So, I have two disclaimers to say. One is that we are all here on our personal capacity. So, we are not representing any company. Amar would be talking a lot about his experience and all. Maybe some names might come out, but we are not representing any company. It is all on personal capacity. And the second thing is, if anyone has any question, please put them on this chat. I'll be very happy to read it out, and then Amar can accordingly answer those questions. Um, Amar, we'll start with the sales and procurement part first. Uh, you mentioned in that comment about our banner that you said sales and procurement are from two different planets. I am here to prove that we are from the same universe. So let's start on that note. Tell us about sales and procurement. What you see.
So, see, if you look at when we as a sales guy, it's been a 20 years of journey where you interact with a lot of sales procurement professionals and you interact with sales professionals as well. What I realize, which is very closely, is objective is same. You are trying to get something which is at X cost or something for your business. We are also trying to create value for your business. End goal is same. However, reaching to that end goal, the process or the way in which every individual reach is different. But uh, at the end, we are working for that common cause. Um, when I looked at from my sales perspective, what I wanted to sell a product. I wanted to sell some software, or I want to sell something to procurement team or to your business. Uh, when your procurement team also there are set of procurement teams which comes into play, multiple, like maybe I don't know if I can use this example, but we go as considering this is a phlebotomy room, and then it gets into a full blown blood bank where the sample gets converted into, so that happens. but in some places where you actually get this thing. So my perspective or my objective to coming on this podcast with you is to help you also, or as Christina also mentioned during our initial discussion, where we are not different. Uh, we are working for a common thing. It's not competition, it's collaboration is what we have to drive together, which will be a win-win situation. And in some cases where we have done this, it resulted in a fantastic way.
Right. Are there any pain points that that are more evident than, let's say, any other point? How do you see it?
Uh, a long-winded answer, not the short one, but I will try to do justice as much as I can. See, one anecdote or one story which VVS, who's our founder and CEO, he told me when I initially joined, and this this is one of my nearest. One time, a procurement guy goes to a village for buying an umbrella, right? And he meets that shop guy. He said, I want to buy one umbrella. What is the price for this? He said, it is 200 rupees. Then
Right.
the procurement guy says, I wanted 100 rupees. With a lot of resistance and all these things, he somehow they agree. They said, okay, you take it, take 100 rupees. Procurement guy again go back and think, hey, have I under negotiated? I should have also have some other room. Let me also go and again negotiate. He again goes back. He says, hey, I wanted 50 rupees. Then the again discussion starts. Again, everything from the scratch starts. And then at the end, it goes to, he said, the umbrella seller says, boss, you take it for free. And the procurement guy says, okay, then give me two. That's how we see procurement. In some cases, it becomes a complete road blocker where okay, now it's okay, why the procurement came, we don't know. Now they don't even want to understand the point of view. They don't even want to see the product. They don't even want to see the value proposition, the business. They just want to know what price it is. Number one, the price tag. So I'm not trying to generalize here in terms of all the guys does this. Most of the guys, unfortunately. But the first thing when any procurement, it's a de facto. When you meet any procurement guy for this thing, the first thing which they ask is, give me the price. So what we look at procurement is, it's more of a, okay, can we get, is it a gatekeeper? Yes, it is a gatekeeper sometimes, and it becomes a big gatekeeper. We want to see procurement as an enabler, where it becomes easier. But this is how. But in some cases, I'll tell you, with my experience of dealing with multiple kind of procurement professional, I have met some of the beautiful procurement professionals wherein you feel really working with them, enjoying with them, where it's a co-creation journey where you have created a solution, created a value proposition, and it's a win-win game. It is not just a win-lose kind of a game. So that's how I look at the procurement, or that's how maybe from the sales point of view, we look at the procurement.
Right. And yes, I have heard this before as well. A lot of people in sales actually see procurement as gatekeeper. They actually like the stakeholders, but they don't like procurement a lot. I can justify why this is so, but I don't want to get into that. Again, why do you think that this is the image that procurement has?
See, over a period of time, or and this is not just me. Maybe my colleagues in the industries or all the sales professionals, they would also agree. Where what happens is, when the procurement gets involved, it depend on the stages. If you get involved at the initial stage from the day one, from the stage of RFQ or from the stage of requirement itself, gathering the requirement
Starting
from
of the
that
project.
stage,
Right.
starting of the project, uh, then the procurement doesn't become a gatekeeper. They
Right.
become enabler. But when they get involved and they are just pushed to do the job, okay, get the quote negotiated, done, and within the limited timeline, then I think so, because I keep talking to a lot of procurement professional. You have a 15 days or 7 days window where you have to close the project, and
Right.
you don't know ABCD about the project before. Now within 7 days, the only exercise you could do is bring proposal, bring it in the Excel, and L1, L2, and L3, and all these things that you can do. So that could have been image. But having said that, I've also seen procurement professionals being in that zone where uh, they don't want it to connect. They don't want it to mix up. They open up too much, or if I talk too much, if I involve too much, it might be I might lose something. But that doesn't happen. So they are like, they sometimes I see, are they robot? That okay, the only 2 3 questions. Yeah, so it's give me proposal, give me lowest price, give me this. So beyond that, you try to ask some question, and then you get discouraged, or maybe you get, okay, hey, just do this, let's do that. But some professionals are really interesting, where okay, let me understand, let me actually understand what you sell, what you do. Example, where in one of the deal where we were talking to a procurement professional, he actually sat with us, looked at each and every feature what we offer, and he actually did dig down where what this feature can translate into and how it will benefit the business, and
Right.
is it with your other people. So those kind of professionals are rare, where if those people come, then I'm sure the image has to be changed, which will change.
One of the reasons that procurement does not come as a very friendly kind of department or something like that is what you said is right. We are involved in the last minute, and the other one is that the influence has to be minimum. I mean, I cannot be biased to anybody, and because I cannot be biased to anybody, I don't talk to anybody. I'm not justifying. I'm just saying the reason behind it.
You can still
Now,
manage the conflict of interest. The
right,
conflict of interest is, you can still manage that.
right,
See, there's a paradigm shift in which, as you rightly said, it's a human library of procurement.
right,
There's a psychological shift in the human behavior also.
right,
uh, we as a human also evolved, and the thought process also evolved. With this, I think this how you can manage your conflict of interest, and same way you can also manage the relationship without
right.
affecting, or without it's not surrendering too much, or it's not compromising on your conflict of interest, but you also have to have a human element at play, which eventually will be helpful.
Right. And that was my actually the next question. Like over the years in your career,
Hmm.
have you seen this evolved? Like, are you seeing procurement better than what it used to be, let's say, 20 years back?
A lot of
Mhm.
changes. So it's like, maybe if I put it in a way, from a tactical procurement, which is a back-end function. Earlier, when I remember when I was in college or something like that, what procurement job is just to go and buy things and just get and release the PO.
Right,
Now the shift is, procurement has been treated as a strategic business enabler. So
right,
they play a pivotal role in the entire term had changed from procurement to sourcing. So strategic
right,
sourcing, it is that enablement has come, which I see now, which is happening, because
yeah,
if you go with the sales guys who has vintage of 30 years, 40 years, and ask them, they will still say procurement guys are this. When you go, they will ask you quote, you give L1, L2, L3, and then but now it is the shift has it's turning towards, there's a buying. There's a perception which is getting changed from. It's more of okay, now I want to enable my businesses. That ownership is coming. So procurement professionals are also upgrading, which I see happening lately. But yes, it is happening.
Right. So positive change.
Positive change. Yes, change is happening.
Right.
Good for the buyer and seller both.
Yes, definitely good for both.
Hmm.
Just on a different one. Now that we're talking about sales and procurement, what can procurement learn from sales?
Appreciate, party, celebrate.
Partly. Right.
See, I'll tell you. It's like if someone, I'm sorry, I'm not generalizing. Don't get me wrong for this. A sales guy and a procurement guy. If you want to define two emojis, one is the emoji which is like with the lip which is down. Another one is
Right.
lip which is okay. Hey, I am very serious guy. It's kind of, we call it Hindi, if you know that, sak londa kind of image, where hey, we don't want it to. But when you look at, okay, I am being a sales guy, or we being a sales professionals, we try to engage, make relationship. We try to establish, understand. It is not chasing. We try to understand, make relationship. We follow up. Often I have seen that the follow up is into last minute, which procurement team does. However, if it is not priority, there is no priority.
Right.
There is a difference. So we follow very proactively. Maybe most of the procurement team, that's why they don't answer the call. They start ghosting. Because hey, this guy is chasing too much. So those and the TAT driven decision making, and how you align all the stakeholders to that particular TAT, and how you build a consensus, that is something which procurement need to do rather than establishing an authority. So you have to build consensus. That is something which we as sales professional do. We travel a lot. That's, I think, travel opens a lot of door in terms of overall understanding. So that, I think, procurement professionals should do. My view, not generalistic. Yeah.
No, I agree for the celebration and party part. We met at a celebration. We met at an event. So
we met
started going for events and all. It's a shift from my paradigm as well. I never used to do it before. So these are things that are changing. The incentive part as well. Sales gets a lot of incentive more than procurement. So that has to change as well. And the training part. You guys get a lot of training. So that is another part.
The grass is always greener on the other side, which is right.
Yes.
Both the sides. So the parameters of incentivization, if that gets defined, for sure there's gonna be a big fight, because maybe since it is now changing, but 90% of the procurement professional, their care is to save money. Our care is to get more money. So if my incentive was getting more money and your incentive is on saving more money, then that friction will this thing. So yes, the element of incentivization has to be introduced in procurement, but on a parameter of value creation, how co-creation, all these things, that has to be there.
Right. I have a comment from Christina. She says, we seek VFM.
Marketing or something.
Value for money, I think. Value for money.
Value for money.
Yes.
Value for money, yes, but you have to optimize the cost. You should not just look at the one value proposition. How do you get maximum out of that particular thing is something which you should be looking at.
Now we all have our roles. We are also there to prevent certain buying disasters that are there. So there can be leakage of money, and The value
Yeah.
for money is a big factor as well. Yes, company can be in profit either by getting more revenue, getting more sales, or by reducing the spend. Every dollar that you don't spend is actually affecting your bottom line as well. Or both. The best ideal scenario is both together.
Agree.
Yes. So going on that learning part, we heard about what procurement can learn from sales. What can sales in turn learn from procurement? Let's say. What would you
I
like to
think
learn from procurement?
financial modeling.
Right.
How do you look at when you say value creation? What is your what is factor where we also have to look at that? Yes, procurement, you tend to do those modeling, business modeling, or and what I think so. Yes, understanding how do you cost, how do you optimize your costs and all this.
Right. I think both those come from the scope of work. If you do your scope right, so first
Agree.
is of course the stage at what we are involved has to be correct. The second
Correct.
is that if you scope the work correct with the stakeholder, I think a lot of answers will come out of that point. And then, of course, your market research and your other researches will help.
That's true.
Right. Now, procurement and sales. If one word, is it more collaboration or more competition?
It has to be
Right.
collaboration.
Right.
See, when you compete, then your objective is to defeat and win. So when you're looking at win-win, then it has to be collaboration, but the element of competition definitely should not be there. Or when you instruct your procurement team that I need this one particular item at X cost, you go and in turn they start fighting with sales guys. I have seen this thing okay, I'll give you an example. If I'm at liberty to quote, but recently I was talking to somebody, and just because they wanted to do negotiation, he came, and because he was in competition with me, he said, okay, hey, your mandate charges are 12,000 rupees. No, that's not right. Bring it down to 500 rupees hour. So
Wow.
I don't see the logic. First is straightforward. You divide 12,000 rupees into 24 and then bring it down to 500 rupees. Who works for 24 hours? See, when you lose your sense, when you actually think of getting into competition and compete with sales guys. The procurement job is not to compete. I am not your enemy. I am here to help you to deliver something for your organization which could be mutually beneficial. I'm sure I'm going to sell a product or services which you will definitely gonna get some value out of it. But on other side also, I should also be in a sustainable thing, and you should also get the value.
Right.
That's why I've quoted when I said, see, is it a Shark Tank when you get into, or is it a KBC? Wherein who will be KBC, who will be the millionaire kind of version of India. So if it is looked at that way, then I'm sure the more thing I'm looking at is it has to be collaboration.
Right. And to that, Amarnath says, on a lighter note, present, it looks like fish and the fisherman. That's another analogy that comes a lot. It is seen as a
Agree.
fish and the fisherman kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. We'll get on to something specifics now. Negotiation in sales.
Negotiation, from when I am looking at, is definitely I should be able to do justice to the product which I am selling. I should get value I should get a sustainable value. I should not bleed when I'm serving. That's what my intent would always be. And I should be able to optimize the time, energy, and effort what I have put in the entire sales process should get compensated. And it should also, the value also should be delivered to the end customer or a subscriber. Since I'm a SaaS product company, I'm saying subscriber. Uh, Negotiation is the core of sales thing. When I looked at negotiation as at large, uh, there are from the procurement side, uh, and here I definitely wanted to bring that element as part of the discussion, debate, whatever is happening right now. What we see happening around is most of the time is not negotiation. People keep negotiation around aside, and they start blackmailing, wherein, hey, if you don't do this, I'm gonna give it to your competitor. Give me this
Right.
price, or else I'm gonna do this. Give me this. That's a blackmailing. That's not a negotiation. See,
Yeah,
when a
that is not
negotiation, it
negotiation.
has to be rational, where you
Right.
have to define rational. Whatever you are asking, and trust me, the guys who are able to justify the rational gets the best deal also, and the sales guy is also with them, and it's a long-term partnership what get established. It is not just
Mhm.
one time, but the most of the time negotiation is often treated as a another. It's not a, see, there's a difference between a bargain and the negotiation and the blackmailing. Something which is for example, you know, you're not going into a flea market where uh, you say, okay, hey, the price is 100 rupees, and then give me at 50, give me at 30. That is not a negotiation. So that's a bargaining. But when you're
Right.
actually negotiating a contract, you need to put forward rationals very clearly, um, straightforward, and you need to also understand what is that it is coming around, and have a very fair negotiation, which has to have a win-win. Ultimately,
Right.
who blinks first? Definitely that's get into that stage where, hey, I blink first or you blink first, but it has to be very clearly win-win one. That's how
Right.
we look at, I look at negotiation.
Right. So from my point of view, negotiation, the major part of negotiation should be your preparation. If a procurement guy has actually done his preparation right, he will not sound like what you said. And bargaining is a part of negotiation. It is just like 5% or something. So it should not be the entire thing. You mentioned.
Bargaining also, bargaining, yes, you're right. Bargaining becomes a part of the negotiation. As you rightly said, the homework is done. That, hey, okay, you have done 1 2 3 4 5 things, and this is what it is. You
Right.
also need to understand that you are actually doing apple to apple comparison.
Right.
Those comparisons are often overlooked. You come with the expectation of Titanic, but your budget is of paper boat. How do you get the same thing? You can't have that,
Right.
right? So you want a Titanic, you need to also understand we are buying a Titanic. You're not buying a paper boat. So the budget
Right.
also has to be in line with Titanic.
On the comments here, Alex says,
Hmm.
be the customer choice or the choice customer of choice. And Christina says that this, or rather, this kind of negotiation is more nuisance than negotiation. What kind of negotiators? You already talked about one. What other kind of
Hmm.
negotiators have you seen in procurement?
This a very honor, although it is my sales teams and my internal kind of code words or something like that. But there are 4 5 kind of negotiation, majorly 4 kind of negotiator. What we see, one guy is irrespective of, he's just gonna ask you for a quote.
Right.
He just want a proposal, nothing else. He don't want to see your product. He don't wanted to look at what your product has, what the pedigree the company has, what background experience, nothing. just want a quote. First, give me a quote, then only I'm gonna talk. That is one.
Right.
Second kind of buyer is it comes with a detailed requirement. My business need this, and I'll tell you, very rarely I found these kind of buyers where they come with a very crystal clear requirement that, hey, I need this. Do you have this feature? Yes, no, yes. Then okay, then only we can talk. So
Right.
those kind of buyers are there from the negotiator, and they come and they negotiate on these kind of things. Third, which is predominantly very dangerous buyers, where they don't negotiate with you, but they try to gather too much of intelligence from you. They leave you clueless. They definitely leave
Right.
you clueless. They want every information from you. They want all the things. They don't disclose much. They this thing, but and inside they like, maybe I generally don't trust those kind of buyers where, okay, you're just trying to get the information, you don't want it to share anything. Those this thing. But the fourth one is also where we definitely have good this thing where the focus of negotiator is how do we co-create, what best we can do. See, it is us versus we. So what we together can get to the business. So ultimately their buyer is also your buyer is your business, right? So a buyer want this, my business want this, you have product, they need it, I have budget. How do we better create so that they are also happy, you're also happy, I am also happy, and you also don't lose, they also don't lose. So those kind of, how do we try to balance that? So
Right.
those are major categorization.
Right. And that gets me to that four quadrant categorization, like something like Kraglick, where you have strategic, leverage, non-critical, and bottleneck. I think the bottleneck would be the quote guy. The leverage would be the guy who is just gathering all the information.
Correct.
The guy who is doing it right is strategic. So like that. Nice, good point. Thank you for that. We wanted to talk about the go-to-market strategy as well. One of the things that sales does is go-to-market. For procurement, it is go-to-market means that I go and get a sales guy. What is go-to-market for you? Like, how do you see it, go-to-market strategy?
I, I can actually write a book on that. So that's what
Okay.
we do. So see, I'll tell you from the sales perspective, when you're looking at the go-to-market strategy or go-to-market, what we looked at, maybe for the betterment of the audience, I will not use too much of jargon, but what we looked at is more of who we are gonna, what is our product first.
Okay.
We understand our product first. That is very clear, that okay, my product is this. Who will be the intended audience, who will be the intended buyer for this, who all will be the intended audience or target audience, and then how we reach to them, what all the mediums in which we can reach out, and how we can communicate, how we can establish the relationship, and how we can better position our product. This is a simple buying go to market is what we look at. Then the further gets drilled down into the sector segments and all these things, but that is on a high level is what we. So two W's, two H.
Right. Right. And one of the things that sales is pretty good at is the should be cost. Do you want to tell us how do you calculate should be cost, or what is the cost build-up model for a sales guy?
Okay, when you see, there are perceived value, and there are tangible intangible values. Intangibles are overlooked. So when
Right.
you look at for example, software as a, and this dilemma or this situation we often face being a software sales professional, where you go to procurement and, hey, hello, this is just software which you have created, why you need this much of money? So when you look at the should be cost, is not just the cost of the software, but you also look at the amount of security which has been taken care to ensure the software is robust. the amount of research which has gone into the play, the person behind the software who has created, the experience, expertise, whatever has been invested. So all this intangible, if you are looking at, then you can actually derive at the should be cost. Yes, obviously a person, for let's take an example. If somebody is expert into coming from IITs, IIMs and all these things, uh, how do you value that? How do you put a price tag on that? You can't, right? So when you're looking at the should be cost, our attempt from the sales guy's perspective is to get there is an MVP, what we actually define, minimum viable price. We know if we go beyond this price, there is gonna be a bleeding point which starts. Then we bleed, and when we bleed, the sustainability is questioned. Uh, so those MVPs are well defined in the initial this thing. But to answer your question, maybe a short answer is there are intangible also which are at play, which has to be considered, which are not get considered from the should be cost perspective.
Right. One more topic that has caught up a lot of attention of late is the vendoring versus partnering, or vendor versus partner kind of concept. So from procurement side of view, I know what we want to be. Like, we want partners, not vendors. How do you see, as a sales guy, this thing? And do you think procurement does enough to achieve this?
So if you look at, and this is what I when I meet most of my subscriber and most of my team, uh, and often I feel good as we get introduced. Uh, One such incident which happened in one of the large company where we are already there, and we met procurement team, and they introduced us to the CEO and CXO. While introducing, they said, "Sir, these are our partners in digitization. These guys help us in doing digitization." So they have not introduced us as a vendor. Now, when you look at the fundamental difference between vendor and partner, I'm sure there are vendors. See, I am not gonna come and sell you a product and go away. That's a vendor job. I'm from the definition of it, it is vendor is you are just giving something and going back. Partnering, I'm gonna be there with you, for you, forever. Till the time we are into that transactional this thing, I am gonna be there. We will co-create, we will co-optimize, we will try to create those values. And when it becomes we, then that becomes this thing. So most of the time when somebody comes and says, "Hey, are you a vendor?" So I said, "I'm not sure whether I'm a vendor. I'm definitely not a vendor. I'm a partner." This is a function in which, being a software player, so definitely I'm trying to I'm trying to empower you with some solution which is going to help you to create value within your organization, for your subscriber, for your customer, for your visitors, or whatever that we do this thing. So I prefer a partner route where we are together.
Right. One more thing, let's talk about innovation. For me to get any innovation in a project from procurement side of things, I rely heavily on suppliers. So I'll rely heavily on you. What kind of scope do you get in practical sense of innovation? Do you think you have a space to innovate, or is it like whatever I tell you that this is the quote and you have to do it like that only? What are your views on innovation, let's say?
So most of the time, if you ask me, we come with those particular approach in terms of innovation, that hey, we know, because see, we look at your business, or we look at buyer's business from not from the just sales side of it, but we also look at from the holistic side of you. We also look at the market, that okay, there are trends which are going on. and
Right.
those trends has to be also changed. So I'll give you a small example how we from the innovation perspective. uh, we sell visitor management software, right? So when I go back and when I go to buyer and a procurement team, traditionally visitor managements or kiosk driven and all these things, the box based solutions and all that. I have a solution which is QR code based, which is an innovation. See,
Right.
your device which is of 1 lakh rupees, 2 lakh rupees, 3 lakh, whatever it is there, you don't need it. I have a solution which is 20 rupees or 30 rupees. How much that printout cost you, right? Deploy. Now, when you're looking at that kind of innovation where it is not just eliminating your hardware, but you're also introducing an element of enhancement, which uh, procurement has to see as a innovation that, hey,
Right.
okay, by eliminating this hardware, I am going to actually reduce the tailgating or the crowding there, and it gives more option to the visitor to sign registers and all this thing. Why do we need those expensive hardware which can any which is get absolute? So
Right.
when I and how we also try to project this is, hey, this is what we are also seeing. There is a shift in the industry itself. Industry is adopting to this. Why don't you adopt? So we also come up with those kind of suggestions. Procurement also need to kind of make a case study or make a thing together where you can also show that value proposition of that particular innovation. Yes, you can't innovate anything and everything, but wherever keeping a pace with the changing trends in the industry is something you can definitely take input from people like us. We keep
Right.
visiting offices, we keep visiting market. We know we as part of our KRA we have to be updated. So the latest information source or latest trends definitely you're gonna get with us.
I have a comment from James regarding the vendor versus partnering thing. James says partnerships over transactional are always better. However, sales needs to understand how procurement teams want to buy. So our point of view is procurement can do to better RFP process.
So this is one of the roadblocker of most of the deal RFP and RFQs, where this is and I'm being very honest. It becomes why. See, when you are actually defining those RFQs and RFPs, uh, I understand you also have to look at the solutions or existing solutions, whatever is there, or requirement from the buyer perspective. But you also have to introduce the element of practicality into it. That
Right.
is it gonna be practical? Now, for example, I'll tell you. Again, sorry, I'm not trying to promote anything, but I'm just trying to share out of my experience. What is that?
Yeah, sure.
We sell a software which is for visitor management. And when somebody makes a RFQ or RFP, that it has to come with the operator, that those who will manage that particular desk,
Right.
visitor management desk. That is an impractical thing, I feel. Why? See, the person who is selling a software of this thing has a expertise of software, not a manpower agency. But when you make that particular RFP or RFQ as mandatory, that okay, this is, so you have to look at the RFQ as holistic. That okay, what all practical element we can introduce as part of buying, what is actually happening, and is it really feasible? Is it really not feasible? All these aspects have to be looked at, and you also have to look at the main thing which is typically not given in the RFPs or RFQ is budget. Nobody says that okay, your RFQs are like, again coming back to the Titanic, it is defined with Titanic. At the end you say, hey, I have defined James Bond movie, but I didn't say I have a budget of that, or my location is in Bhojpur, not in James Bond thing. So that's where RFQs plays a very critical role. If these are defined very clearly with practical aspect of it, it becomes a really good enabler because the scopes. But often the scopes are vague, which are within the RFP. Some motherhood statements are made kind of okay, this is we need system. You define what system you want. You want desktop, you want laptop, you want Windows 10, 11, 12, or you want iPad, iPro. All these things has to be very clearly defined. So it becomes easier for somebody who is filling that RFQ to get a clarity. And you also have to have a additional supplementary sheet with those RFQs and RFP, the glossary, where okay, these are our assumptions and presumptions are there, FAQs are there. Okay, this is what you're looking at. Often what you get is just an RFQ. And then when you write back that, hey, I have a question, then they say, hey, you just fill this and then send me, then we'll look at it. When somebody is coming to me and asking for a quote, without looking at the product or without looking at this thing, then I definitely don't wanted to give, or maybe I definitely wanted to understand what is that. So RFQ, RFP process should be introduced once you actually have a scope understanding and all this thing. It gives a better clarity.
Right. And okay, so RFP is to select the best option that is there, and it could be done in that way. Yeah. But the next stage of RFP is contract. How do you see contract?
See, we definitely see contract as a essential part of the product, the entire journey, where again, the things which are documented, and it gives much more clarity for every organizations, and somebody who is even if I am not here tomorrow, the documents and the contract says everything. So contract plays a very essential part. It gives us as a sales guy a confidence also. Yes, there is a seriousness which is coming up. There is a guarantee. There is a assurance which is gonna be there, which will also help us to move forward. And we are clear. The contractual terms are clear, so it becomes easy that okay, hey, are we gonna meet those contractual terms? If it is yes, then move on. If it is not, we actually, the contractual term negotiation also happens, which is a big topic to discuss, but that's a different thing. But yes, contract plays a very critical role, and introduction of contract in the beginning is also very pivotal and important. Often contracts are sent at the last minute. You actually review those contracts. Those contracts comes with the terms which are not feasible, viable, all these things. And then, okay, you say, hey, contract. Sometimes in most of the cases, contracts become showstopper for sales guys. You have those from the contractual perspective, and this feedback which I keep giving to most of my subscribers, most of my team, when procurement creates a contract, or when you also get the contract created from your legal teams, you also have to look at what is that we are buying, and then the contract has to be in line with that particular buying. It should not be that, hey, you're just buying a product of 10 lakh rupees, but the contract has obligations of 1 million, 2 million USD. So it's unfair and it's impractical also. So those contract also have to look at, and most of the time, what I feel is procurement teams are not ready to go back to the business or go back to the legal team, stating a reason that, hey, this is a traditional contract, we can't change. You have to accept. So, and I keep giving this example, or I keep talking to my team also. See, you're giving me a premium, which is peanuts. And in return, you are asking me a contractual obligations of something which is, even if one large multinational came, and they actually put a clause which was around close to some $500 million, which was there as part of the contractual. And if you look at the contract was not even worth, or the contract value was not even some 50K USD or something like that. So the purchase team's problem was They were not able to go back because they said, hey, it's a global contract, standard, all vendors signs it.
Right.
You have to sign because all vendors signs it. See, just because everybody makes mistake, not sure we will also do it, but yes, the contract has to be seen very holistically and practically. From the sales side, it also gives me assurance.
Yeah. You talked about terms and conditions. Tell me your views on payment terms. How do you like payment terms?
Uh, okay, that's the major.
Are-
So now we are actually doing negotiation. So I tell you, when we as a seller, we also want an assurity that we are definitely gonna get this money. We look at payment terms as sometimes practical, sometimes everything get closed, and all of a sudden the bomb comes and they say, hey, we are not gonna pay you annual in advance. Why? We want to use the product and then pay. On that term, when you're looking at, look at some of the largest company. Let's say, let's take an example of Google for that matter. It's very clear. You have monthly this thing, you pay 40% extra. You want to pay annually, you get a 40% discount, right? So those terms are there. But when it is about some different or our kind of product, you want to overlook those factors. You say, hey, how does it matter? You don't factor the cost of money, you don't factor the cost of this thing. So from the payment term perspective, definitely we look at win-win. And any change you want to introduce, because you can't have cake and eat it too. So so we also need some assurance
right.
that, hey,
Right.
you're a good company, you're a good brand, multinational, which is big, okay, but we also have kitchen to function.
Right.
So you also
Yeah.
ensure that our kitchen works. So if I'm not gonna put food in my table or my guy's table,
Right.
it will be unsustainable for me. So balancing both has to be there.
Right. I'll just take the two comments here. One is from Amarnath. This is with the RFQ. He says, what I feel RFQ or RFP should include to evaluate credibility of the vendor or the partner. So that is one point. And then I have another comment from Christina. She says, OMG, my daily fights are around payment terms. So payment term, we could have gone more on that topic. Now let's flip the table a little bit. You have a procurement team in your company. How often do you engage your procurement team for your needs? Because I know that marketing team is infamous. I have worked in marketing category. They don't engage. So how do you see that?
See, experience is same, I'll tell you. When it's you have to negotiate internally as well as externally. When you visit your procurement team for anything being from the sales side, then the same question comes: is it really necessary? Is it really needed? Then I'll tell you an example. When you're booking a hotel, and okay, can I book this? Oh, can you not get some more good option? So they don't want to
Right.
put a word costly or effectively. Same happens with, so need, for example, I need something which is, I need a brochure to be printed, which is immediately. I need it tomorrow morning because
Right.
I have a meeting. I might have to pay 40% extra premium for that particular brochure because it is going to save my time and I need that to be presented there. That's when you go back to the team and then the question comes, can you not wait for 2 more days? I'll get at the cheaper rate. I have a good
Right.
supplier. So those things are definitely, that is across the table that happens when we also interact with our internal procurement team.
One thing that I can tell you is that engage them early so that you get good deals there. I have a few
Sometimes
questions.
it is, yes, yeah. Please
No, go on, please. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying sometimes from the business side or from the sales side, some decisions are pressing and may need immediate attention where you really don't know that, okay, this
Right.
could have been come. Can we have planned well? Yes, we would have planned well, but that came at the last minute.
Last question. AI is going to change a lot of things. How do you see AI changing sales? So AI
Oh,
and
lot
sales.
of, lot
How
of,
do you view?
yeah, lot of means AI is rightly said. It has become a daily part of, essential part of this thing. AI in sales have changed our sales process drastically. The time we used to spend on creating documents, analyzing documents, graphics, all these things, they have drastically came down. You can use AI for better prospecting. You can use AI for better understanding. You can put forward a lot of elements in the deal which can help the deal can be watertight, and you're able to close it faster. Especially the recent generation which is coming into sales, AI is helping them. Gone are the days now when I remember when I started sales career. I've been told that, hey, go, and this is actually I did, where I was selling a commercial cards. My boss told me, if you want to close 20 cards a day, you go out, take the number from the trucks and all, and then dial them and then call them.
Right.
So that I did for close to good amount of, because the product was for transporters. Now with the
Right.
help of AI, you can actually prospect well. You can make a list of things, and then you can create a mailer, personalization. All these things are actually helping and optimizing sales guys in a very good way, which is a transformation. And this could be the best time for a sales guy to be. I could say that.
Right. I think we are just over an hour time. We had a lot of discussion, a lot of points there. Thank you so much, Amar, for your contribution there. A lot of these points are there to help each other. So a lot of these things are there so that we can learn from each other what we see and what we want. Sales wants procurement to be better. Procurement, of course, wants sales to be better. As you said, it is more about collaboration and
Yes.
achieving those success step by step. Is there anything you would like to add before we close, Amar?
Just one thing, which is the whole topic of the entire broadcast is around partnering versus this thing. From the Since I may not be the torch bearer for sales community, but we definitely look at procurement as enabler, and we want procurement as enabling function rather than becoming a roadblocker. Same way, treat us as the same. The sales team is doing their job. Appreciate them. Don't ghost them. Also have to answer 10 people, right? So if we know no, it is no. But most often it is get ghosted. Communication channel should not be broken or should not be paused. Not this time, maybe next time, sometime, but at least you can establish that relationship. So don't be just a transactional one. Let's have a relation. Let's co-create, collaborate each other, so that it becomes win-win for both of us.
Right. Thank you again, Amar. Thank you all who have
Thank you
listened.
so much.
Great talking
Thank
to
you
you.
so
Always
much.
a pleasure
Thank you so
talking
much.
to you. Have a nice
Same
day.
here, Supratim. Same here. Thank you, Alex. Thanks everyone for joining.
If you like this video, please like and subscribe to the channel.